Hi guys, I last month introduced Lenormand readings for February, March, and this month I'm going to do March and April for Gypsy. Some believe that Gypsy cards are actually the evolution of Lenormand cards. There are actually 52 cards in a deck versus 36 in regular Lenormand deck. So I'm going to do the grand tableau with all the cards on the table, where it's going to give us a whole bunch of situation and kind of possibilities, and it could be your story. It doesn't have to be your story because the energies are here from everybody who are actually viewing. So just keep in mind that the cards have their individual meanings, but interpretation of the cards in this big spread requires a deep understanding of how adjacent or associated cards influence the interpretation. Also guys, take advantage of the two promotions, annual Taroscopes and right now it's a great time. They're right now on sale, so you're getting one sign for 10 bucks and all signs for 20, so you can check somebody else, or you can check your ascendant and Venus sign and Mars sign. So this is a great opportunity. But the best part of my special is my speed up promotion, so you are not waiting 3 weeks anymore for the readings. So I'm actually upgrading whatever the term was before, so 3 weeks is now 1 week, so becoming a rush reading, and the rush reading, which was week, is now 3 days. And if you really want an urgent reading, you're going to get it within 24 hours, and if you're North America, most likely the same day. So guys, check my website www.cattarot.ca for more information. You can also find me on Instagram and on Facebook, where I actually also publish daily Taroscopes. So let's jump in. Hi Aquarius, and welcome to your March-April Gypsy Oracle reading. As you can tell, I just really couldn't wait for us to be the 12th, the very last one. So I certainly want thumbs up, I want you to subscribe, and I want you to like, and I want you to share. So thanks so much in advance. So as I said, Lenormand is a little bit different system from Gypsy. Lenormand is more or less kind of like lay of the land, who is coming your way, what kind of situation. This is more or less emotions, right? Like, just imagine all this kind of people. As you can see, everything seems to be people in each of the card, with a few exceptions. So given that this is a general reading, keep in mind it can be like itsy bitsy pieces. That is basically your situation, could be everything. But just if nothing resonates, this doesn't mean this reading is not good. So when I read personally, it is kind of done differently. So let me just start with saying there are actually a few significators. We do have a sweetheart, we have a lover, we have the wife, and we have Lord. So because it's a general reading, forget it. All of them are, any of them can be you, right? Technically, the sweetheart should be a single woman, the lover should be a single guy, the wife should be somebody married or a woman with children, and the Lord should be either a professional or married fellow. But there are also the other characters in here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to tell you some storylines that I see. Now, it's a Mercury retrograde. That's why I'm doing Gypsy, because in Mercury retrograde, emotions really swerve, and lots of things will be happening. Now, it is kind of interesting situation that I see. Where do I start? The first card that came out was Reunion. Hello, Mercury retrograde. You guys, are you waiting for somebody to come back? For those of you who do, there is somebody from the past who might just like simply knock on your Instagram, who might send a message saying, hey, how are you doing? It is kind of really interesting because we have a doggy and a kitty over here. Like a dog is talk about faithfulness, and the cat, yeah, imagine this, it talks about falseness. So it is kind of interesting situation because she's upright, he is reversed. I generally do not read, I mean, I'm putting them on the table the way they came out, just for a simple reason, right, that it's much easier to lay them down instead of flicking every single one every single time I kind of like do 12 signs. But like what is really striking to me is when one is up, one is down. I'm sort of like thinking these people are not together and they're just about to come together. Now, I think it is one person that is really, really waiting for another one. The one person is like so missing something that has started in the past. It could be that some kind of like money got in a way. It is kind of like giving me a sense of that for those of you who are waiting for somebody to come back, this person may have been in a different type of relationship. They could be going through breakup, through separation, and maybe they had good intentions in the past, but things just like didn't materialize. And that's why kind of like which way do I go, faithfulness or falseness, because like two different venues on the same thing. But then we have this widower reversed, which basically it's more positive card when it's reversed. It means some sadness happened, and I would say one part like some of us aquas are ready to move on. We are just like simply saying, you know, I'm not so sure. Has been that kind of like mourning and then happiness and sadness in the past, but you know what, hey, que sera, right? It's this feeling, because look at it. So we have the butterfly reversed, the lightness, and we have intimacy reversed. We have kind of like messages that are sort of delayed. So some of us live in sort of like almost like the state of flux, but we being Aquarius, we are the card of hope. And guess what? Here we have the card of hope right next to us, right next to this falseness, kind of like, which kind of definitely talk about false hope, I would say, right? And that's kind of like really interesting. But the cat is reversed, right? And when is the reversed? And it's right next to the enemy. Enemy also could be an ex. So some of you maybe already had an ex coming back. The others are going to have maybe not just one, but two of them coming in the next short while, because this is the reading for 2 months. So when we have the falseness card, when it's like upright, like I'm always wondering when it comes to somebody, if what we are going to think at this point is like, hey, this person is maybe not really sincere. This could be a completely new relationship as well. Kind of like, hello, where is this going? How is this going, right? And kind of like all that glitters is not gold kind of a thing, right? But like when the falseness is reversed, then that definitely tells me it's the end of period of falsehood. So then these two cards all of a sudden are turning out great. So you see, sometimes it's really great that I kind of like don't flick the cards, so actually I know the meaning exactly. So anything that you maybe dealt with, such as insincere behaviors, gossip, slander, jealousy, envy, is going to stop, cease to exist. This might be some kind of answers. Like, you know, we always, after the breakups, ask for these why answers. Well, we might get them. Generally, when I coach people, I tell them don't wait for that why answers, because that's, especially women, we kind of like loop into this, oh, why this happened, why did he do that, instead of moving on. I have to give it to the men. They can move on much faster than women can. I don't know, this is partially because of all this like fairy tales that are really beautiful when we are hearing them as children, because they have happy endings. But then we're trying to reflect those happy endings and fairy tales in our lives, and reality kicks in, sort of a thing, right? Now, keep in mind also that this falseness is right next to the enemy and right next to the death. which kind of does talk about infidelity. It can talk about betrayal. It can feel that we are still feeling something that stems from the past. Maybe something is still going on. It's kind of like duality in the feeling. Yes, we want to move forward with this person who is coming back, but we also really hesitate. It looks like it was really, really painful period that kind of like has happened, right? Because the death card showing up here. And that's what I'm telling you. Somebody may have been married to someone. Because look at this. They were here. I see the wife and a young woman and a death reversed. And the service domestica, servant, I guess, reversed. And the pleasure seekers reversed. And consolation reversed. So this is bringing me to this basically significator. This significator, like, look, the widow reversed, young lady reversed, death reversed, merchant reversed. This person is also waiting for something. It almost tells me that there is some kind of connection in the situation, because there is a direct line in between that amore, or the lover, and this wife. So these two significators are connected, but both reversed, meaning they have been connected. They are no longer together. And the widower meaning, okay, it is time to move forward. That's why I said when I started, look, it sounds to me that somebody maybe who have been in a relationship in the past is now coming back as a single. The unfortunate part is, and we usually Aquarians step away. When we are in the third party, we are kind of like, wait a minute, I am not going to break any relationships. And usually we end up being in a third party, really being suckered in, basically our goodness and kindness. And no matter what anybody says, honestly, I get really, really pissed off when people say that Aquarians are cold and aloof. And I know that I can even find a stranger Aquarius on the street and they will be able to extend help to me. So I would really fight them on that point. Now, this person also is waiting for this person to come back. This person, this could be a person with a child, since this is kind of like located next to it. When the death comes reversed, which is right in her trajectory, because look what she has. She has the pleasure seekers. This is a third party. Sights. She's sad. It could be somebody long distance. You guys, if this is you, because the merchant and the sights, to me, like a very interesting two cards. I don't know if you can see it here. Look. It's almost like the same card, just separated with the border. Because look at the ship. It's here and it's here. Could it be that they're actually facing each other? But it's quite much different flavor. This is almost like a business card. Somebody kind of like waiting for the ships to come in. And she maybe just lost somebody. She's reading this letter. She's sad. She's needing support, right? Where this guy is just like waiting to go forward. But he is reversed. And she is up. So double whammy. Next to misfortune, next to this kind of like prison. So this person is not going to have a good time. If this is you guys, it really feels there's still hope. There is still hope here as well, but it's more like sides. What's going to happen? But on the other hand, on this trajectory, we have the death reverse, skull reversed, and no conversation. Just some maybe kind of legal stuff being sent over. Maybe scholar, it could be lawyer. It almost could be getting in a really bad situation, because this is the key card, right? Because when the death reverses, suggests that the situation can be very negative, and it can sometimes talk about very significant upheaval in Aquarius life. And we Aquarians, we are ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is higher emanation of Mercury. So whenever you hear Mercury retrograde, sure, Gemini gets hit, but we get double hit. So keep that in mind. Now, I don't want to be, you know, the bringer of the bad news, but the death reverse sometimes literally brings death, a physical death. But it can be a death of a feeling, which Yay for some of us, who need to get over somebody who is still lingering in their psyche, finally wash away kind of like all this basically stuff. This also could also mean the end of criminal conviction, kind of like things working out well, right? So for this person, it might go through some kind of disruption, maybe negative period. It's kind of really weird because, something feels lost forever, right? The death of the enemy. That enemy, funny enough, could be that ex coming back in one of these people's life, because look at this. The sweetheart is knighting that enemy here, but so is the wife knighting the enemy. But the difference is the wife is the child. Something is not serving well in this relationship, hence the death. But here, it's the hope in between and reversal of the sickness. So, it will be two sets of Aquarians. Some of them will, let's call it win. I hate to use that word for love relationships. It shouldn't be win and lose, because this is simply the wrong footing. But others are simply going to have to face, mind you, this can be the second, this can be the other partner, their situation. It can be even the third party that we are seeing in Aquarian reading over here as well. So you can see like lots of intricacy, because this person is connected with this person, and this person kind of knows of this child and this woman. So it's kind of really interesting, but there is like absolutely reunion of something and ending something that kind of like didn't sit well properly. Then we have this Lord. It's kind of really interesting because look, we have the wedding, and then we have the priest, and we have a doctor. So you have to, for a moment, kind of like put yourself in a position, hey, 18th century, right? That's why I like these cards, because I'm European, and I mean, now I'm North American, but I was born European, and it still kind of like resonates with the culture there. So you have to translate this somehow to the 21st century. But whereas Sibylla is kind of like that Italian flavor, and that's why they have this kind of like really flourished kind of like wedding, kind of like ceremonies, etc. It's kind of soon something like that is not going to exist. So when the priest over here is reversed, of course, the Lord could be that guy also that we want, maybe somebody who is more serious. It could be somebody who is married. It could be somebody in a relationship that, I'm looking. It could be just a single guy or a single woman. As I said, it's a general reading. But what do we have around this person? We have service reversed. We have the wedding. We have despair reversed, which is also jealousy card. We have sorrow, and we have joyfulness. We have prison. We have the priest reversed, and we have old lady. And that's the clue. Look at the old lady and the thief reversed and the doctor. Could be the guy with an old lady. And again, the old lady could have a child or a friend. And maybe she feels, or maybe it's also possible that this fellow here had a friend who stole. That friend that stole this guy from this woman. And so we also may be this old lady, whichever way kind of like fits in the story. So when the priest reverses, it's kind of like talking about being accused of loss of morality, of injustice, kind of error in judgment. That can suggest sort of like even black magic if you really wish, right? But it definitely also talks about divorce. So this is the guy who somehow, actually it's funny enough, because I feel this woman feels wronged, but she's not asking for the divorce. Like everything in her, basically, she just focused on him. He is pretty much the only thing she has or wants, because look at this, there's no joy. The house is upside down. There's no love. She actually even feels that hubby is cheating, and she's accepting this just to have him back. So this guy in such a big power position over here, almost like having the two women or even three fighting for him and being jealous. And yet, look at this, he has a soldier over here, and like also there's another three party here. He simply is playing his game, or she is playing her game. and letting others fight for him or her, which kind of is totally bizarre. But if you really think that this person is kind of like unscratched or having a good fun life, well, think again. This person is going through hell as well. Look at his prison and misfortune, because the prison is definitely talking about regrets. It's this kind of situation also that can cause regrets on all sides, right? Imagine having a person who has a girlfriend or wife and getting involved with this person maybe based on complete lies or something, maybe done out of selfishness to kind of heal his self-esteem and feel good because, you know, there's another person that kind of likes this person. And then you find out that you are the one who is the third party after being hooked in this whole concept, because we have a thief and we have lack of joyfulness. And the funny part is like that this woman is in between these two. So kind of like positioning all over, and then him claiming, well, sorry, yes, this is kind of important to me. And so everybody feels devastated in the situation, right? Because the prison is also loneliness, and this person was like, look at it as a sorrow and lonely and misfortune happening over here in his or her world, right? They actually do want to end this relationship. And it's kind of really weird. Like, remember how I saw it here? It could be the same person. Somebody who wants to really get out. But almost like spiteful. If you're not letting me out, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to be with Schmo and X and Y and Z. Almost like, you know, a person who kind of like needs a little bit better maturity, I would say, right? So misfortune is like, to me, akin of the Tower card in tarot, right? It's actually even worse, because in tarot people are just jumping off the tower, right? But here actually burn alive inside the tower. And plus, imagine if you're in prison and you're burning, there's like no way, imagine the panic, you're like chained to the wall and nothing can basically happen. So definitely I'm thinking this person, the priest reverse, and this, they absolutely want to get separation, divorce, and it's also probably loss of property, etc. And at the same time, they're playing the field with the other people who maybe want something serious with him or her and saying, watch, I'm still married. So you can see how the same person who maybe is devastated over a situation that goes on in his or her life is not getting what they call 360 to understand that other people get affected with those emotions and kind of like sucking them into kind of a whole bunch of things. So, ouch, Aqua. Lots of different stories. I would like to know which one is yours, if any. I do appreciate your comments very much. And again, this is a general reading. To get your own, please contact me via www.cattarot.ca. This is a really good spread that I use if I want to know emotions. And sometimes clients ask me, hey, what does he feel about me? What does she feel about me? Did she ever love me? And did he have anybody else? And if so, what was the real story here? Because sometimes people tell you out of spite things just to hurt you. Sometimes people tell you because they are uncomfortable to kind of like keep a relationship on a mature level. Cards never lie. I didn't see it yet. So, my dear Aqua, I really want this thumbs up, subscribe, like, and yes, if you subscribe, guys, if you haven't, then you get an invite for live love sessions. I wish. No, not offered. Live sessions. And until the next time, I love you. All the best.